to keep buying more. So people has problem in terms of consumerism because people relentlessly chase possessions and experiences. We are convinced that greater consumption equates to heightened happiness and elevated standing. In reality, it's so difficult for us to reach a certain level of satisfaction and contentment. We always want more. It's so difficult for us to be satisfied or contented. At times, people can get stuck always wanting the new or the next new thing, which can lead to stress, which can lead to debt and feeling empty inside. That's the problem of consumerism. We have this relentless chase for the next shiny object. We have this relentless chase for the new next thing or the next new thing. So, this line between their authentic self and the persona shaped by consumer culture becomes blurred. So, what does true success mean to you beyond financial wealth? So, I will end with that statement. Considering all the things that we have discussed and the things and factors that may influence our purchasing or economic capacity, what would make you say that a person is successful? Or what does true success mean to you beyond financial wealth? So look into that thought provoking question. If we are not looking at the money, or if we're not looking at finances, or if we're not looking at wealth, what would success mean to you? Okay, I'll end there. If you have questions, clarifications regarding the discussion, send me an email. Thank you so much for listening. If you're done, please proceed to the next video. We are to discuss the spiritual self. Thank you. Hi everyone. So for the next chapter, we will be tackling the spiritual self. So, setting out on a spiritual journey is comparable to embarking on an expedition to unearth one's purpose. It's like probing into the spiritual dimension of existence in pursuit of greater importance and bliss. So, this journey can aid them in self examination, growth, learning, feeling more tethered to the world, being part of a larger entity, and finding contentment in a leading a thoughtful and spiritually enriched life. So, how are we to differentiate religiosity from spirituality? Because nowadays it's so common for us to interchange these terms. So, how are we to describe these terms? So, religiosity is the gauge of a person's adherence to and practice of the beliefs, rituals, and traditions associated with a specific religion. On the other hand, in the human experience, there is a bond with transcendent or divine, often associated with spirituality. This bond is not restricted by parameters set by organized religion, rather, it extends to probing into questions about why we are here, our role, and life's true meaning. So, going back to the definitions mentioned, religiosity measures how closely a person follows the beliefs, rituals, and traditions of a specific religion. It reflects one levels of religious commitment which can vary widely among individuals and change over time due to personal and cultural influences. Spirituality, on the other hand, is a personal connection to the transcendent or divine that goes beyond organized religion. It explores life's deeper questions and is unique to each individual's experience. So, spirituality is more of building that individual relationship with someone we consider as a god or someone we consider as part of a divinity. So, spirituality is a continuous evolving journey of self discovery, with each experience adding a new chapter to one's personal path. So there are characteristics of religiosity. You may refer to page 175 of your book. So the characteristics of religiosity based on the statements are: first is personal commitment. Religiosity is a personal commitment because it includes a deep personal journey centered on a strong belief in the doctrines and tenets of a particular faith. It also involves as a moral guidance because it may serve as a moral compass guiding your decisions and behavior. It also serves as your active practice, regular participation in religious rituals and services, even in terms of the observations of holidays. And then community affiliation, strong sense of belonging to a religious community with involvement in communal activities and engagement. And it will also, or it may also serve as your support network. Engagement and community provide social support, unity, and shared spiritual experiences. So there are instances wherein we meet people, make friends based on the network and community affiliations we create out of the religions that we have. So it's also a moral and ethical influence because, of course, it reflects, it shapes our values, our lifestyle choices, our daily conduct, how we behave, the decisions we make, the things that we do. It somehow reflects the religion that we follow. And then spirituality also has characteristics which you can see on the 176th page of your book. So first, it's more of a path of self-discovery. And then it involves transcendence and connection, aiming to connect with something greater, aiming to connect with a divine power. It's inclusive and open as it welcomes diverse beliefs and practices from various religions. And it's more of a personal expression, encouraging creating individual practices and rituals without strict dogmas. So it involves, or it may involve, questioning and growth. It may affect your holistic well being as it focuses on all aspects of yourself, such as physical, mental, even emotional. So it may also involve compassion and service, such that it highlights um, helping others as its core values. It also includes interconnectedness, emphasizing your deep connection with a higher being. So, to briefly differentiate, um, religiosity is more structured, following established religious rules and institutions, while spirituality focuses on personal exploration and self discovery. In terms of belief system, religiosity is more based on specific teachings, while spirituality is more open to many beliefs and ideas from various sources. And then community versus individual expression. Religiosity involves active participation in religious communities. Spirituality encourages personal beliefs and self expression. Morality and ethics versus holistic well being. Religiosity shapes moral and ethics values through religions, while spirituality emphasizes overall well being and transcendence versus connection. So, religiosity centers on a higher power or deity, while spirituality seeks connection beyond any specific deity or religion. So, our religious practice is a complex part of human culture and spirituality with many interrelated details, which extends across a broad range of one belief system to another, encompassing the diverse rituals worldwide. So, despite differences among religions, they commonly include belief in the divine, ethical guidance, and community building. These practices, such as prayer, meditation, support spiritual connection, personal growth, and deeper understanding of oneself and the sacred. So, characteristics of religion: belief in sacred, systematic belief system, rituals, practices, symbols, sacred spaces, historical and cultural context, moral and ethical framework, community and social aspect. I think all of which are things that all of us are probably already familiar with. So there are types of religion. First is monotheistic. Therefore, you believe in only one God, such as in Islam or in Christianity. And then there's also what we call polytheistic religions. They worship multiple deities, each with distinct roles and attributes, an example of which would be Hinduism. And then we also have non theistic and atheistic belief systems. They do not center on the worship of deities, they focus on meditation, enlightenment, or ethical living, such as Confucianism. There's also an indigenous and folk religions, often tied to specific cultures, regions, or tribes. So there are Native Americans' belief system, wherein they have rituals related to nature and spirits. There's also a non-religious movement, modern belief system challenging religious norms, more on the elements of sciences or self-help, more on self-help than on religion. So I think a lot of us would encounter posts, tweets, or texts claiming that they do not believe in a higher being because certain scientific evidences support the claim of creation. So some would focus more on the elements of sciences or would focus more on the possibility of providing self help than of believing a higher being. On the other hand, spiritual practices are special activities people do on purpose to feel more connected to something greater than themselves, like a higher power or their inner feelings. So there are types of spiritual practices, first of which is meditation, focused on attention and mental discipline to achieve inner peace, self awareness, and heightened consciousness. So, meditation is a powerful tool for calming the mind, fostering mindfulness, and unlocking greater spiritual insight. Then, prayer, communication with the divine being, deity, or higher power. I think a lot of us practices prayer or are already familiar with prayer because I think, as what we know, prayer is our means of communicating to our God. Prayer is our way of personally relating and connecting to Him. So, in a way, prayer develops our intimate personal relationship with God and shows our dependence upon Him. And then yoga, it's the physical postures, breath control, and meditation for physical